Okay, so today I am changing the I'm changing the resin tank for my 3D printer. So this is the one I use for all of my grills making. This is a Saturn 16K. Oh, that's my cat. This is a Saturn 16K Ultra, and that's another Saturn 4. But Saturn 4 is really good because it gives really good definition, and I use it with the Blue Cast resin, Blue Cast X1V2. And this printer is not good because it's already broken, and I just been using it because as you can see, there's a little crack here. I don't know how I did that, but I just make sure that all my prints are lining up along this side or like in the corners, and they'll be okay to print. And yeah, so I'm just going to give this a wipe down in iso alcohol, and then it's ready for the new tank. The reason I'm changing a new tank is because the release film. So as you can see here, yeah, so it doesn't recognize the resin tank, but it is the correct one that I'm going to be putting in. And then so release film usage count, apparently I used this much, but that's not true because I actually did something when I first got the machine. I actually damaged it, like you can see. And also another thing is yeah, so I damaged it pretty bad, but it still works. Another thing is don't let resin leak down underneath here, because what the liquid resin does is that it actually eats the plastic. It will eat the plastic part of your machine. You can see I actually have Gorilla Glue. I'm not organized. I'm very messy, so it doesn't, you can do a little better with your machines, but you can see how mine has this crack. It's because I let the resin leak into these areas, and it was inside the machine and just breaking down the plastic from the inside. But end of the day, it works. I started looking after a little bit more, and so now I'm going to wipe it down and change and print. You can see my setup. My setup is all on the floor because that's where I find it to be the most level. You could also see people also have it on bench tops, but I just been leaving them on the floor. And you can see here I have my iso alcohol, and this is an air purifier. But I found that Blue Cast resin doesn't have any fumes. But if you're going to be using another cheaper resin like Siraya, you will smell the resin, and you're gonna need the air purifier. Okay, just making sure it's all good. Okay. No. Alright, so ideally you want to use a microfiber paper towel. Oh no, sorry, a microfiber towel, because that will not leave any fiber on the machine. But I'm just going to use a regular paper towel. It's gonna remove the Z-axis, that's what I call it. Wiping it down with alcohol. Alright. Okay, so now that I have wiped it down with iso alcohol, I'm going to just place the film like that. Make sure to never touch the plastic side. Just leave it really. Alright. And when you screw on these little nozzles, just make it very lightly. Don't make it too tight. Just very lightly is okay. And here I have my resin. I'm going to heat up my resin because they're very cold right now, and it's just not flowing in there as well. Okay, and so this one is pretty warm. I'm just straining it. My strainer, you can see, is pretty old. It's clogged. I don't really care anymore. But it's okay. It's good to have a strainer because they can get very chunky. And yeah, so this is the Blue Cast resin. Okay, so I'm in the kitchen right now, and here's the resin. This is a new bottle, and it is winter time in Melbourne, so it's quite so the resin is quite thick. It will not print properly, and even though the machine Elegoo 3D printer has a preheating part, you still should make sure this is all liquid. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna pour hot water over it into a bowl and then take it back to the printer. Okay, so alright, so now this has been in the hot water, and it's a new bottle. I'm just gonna give it a good shake, and because it's a new bottle, I don't need to use the strainer, but usually you will need the strainer. You don't have to reach the maximum line. Mine never reaches the maximum. I think the max line is actually quite a bit, but you can see how much I filled in here. It's like a finger. I think one finger is perfect. The consistency of the resin is very liquidy, and the build plate is very clean. All right, we're good to go. I'm just gonna make sure everything is good and just make sure these two are not too tight, just very lightly is okay. Otherwise you could damage the machine. Okay, I think, all right, I'm gonna print the grills. When I'm slicing my 3D prints, I always make sure the every single little drip has to have a support. Otherwise, your printer probably not going to print successfully. And when you check the bottom area, you can see there's a lot of like overhang area, which is the red part. You want to make sure those areas have a lot of support, but because I'm not going to put support on the inside because it's going to be annoying to clean up afterwards. I'll just keep everything. So after printing, you want to soak it in iso alcohol, which is a little in the jar over here. After you soak it in alcohol, you want to rinse this in the water, and then after that let it air dry. So when it air dries, it's going to turn ash gray, and that's when it's ready. So this one is still a bit wet, but basically this is how you use the 3D printer. And so using a cuticle cutter will give you much better precision, because when you break these apart, they're very fragile, and if you break it, you're gonna print it again. So yeah, so these are my tricks for 3D printing.